SCP-002 Status Contained Object Class Euclid. Description: the object is a fleshy, roughly 60 cubic meters tumor-like mass with iron valve hatch located on one side of its exterior that allows entry to its interior space. The subject's interior space consists of a room similar in appearance to a standard low-rent apartment as might be found on Earth. However, the furnishings of the room are made from biological material from the human body, including bone and woven hair. These materials are converted from humans who enter the room alone and disappear once inside, some of whom are drawn through unknown means to enter the hatch while nearby. Animals and cadavers do not trigger this conversion process. Each of the items within the room, which includes 2 lamps, a throw rug, a television, a radio, a beanbag chair, 3 books in an unknown language, 4 children's toys, and a small potted plant, have been found to possess independent or fragmented DNA sequences. The interior space also possesses 1 window, which is not visible from the exterior. When connected to a power supply, appears to enter a recharging state. History: extraterrestrial in origin. SCP-002 first arrived on Earth after dropping from orbit to land in northern Portugal. Upon impact, the object created a large crater and damaged a thick shell of rock it had been traveling in, exposing its organic exterior. The crater and SCP were then discovered by a local farmer who reported the discovery to the elder of village. After discovering a small radioactive anomaly created by the object, a Level 4 agent posted in the region alerted the SCP Foundation of its possible SCP status. Once the Foundation was made aware of the anomalous object, a squad of security personnel led by General Mulhausen moved in to secure it within a large container. The general and his men then began initial testing of the SCP using inhabitants of the nearby village. 3 local men were sent in individually, and after all 3 failed to return, Mulhausen deemed the object dangerous and issued a Level 4A termination order to his men, who then terminated all locals who had knowledge of SCP-062, killing roughly 1/3 of the village's population. Satisfied that information about the SCP would not spread, Mulhausen then ordered that it be prepared for transport to a secure location, later redacted from official documents. As the team proceeded as ordered, 4 of the security personnel were drawn for unknown reasons into SCP-002, resulting in their disappearance and the growth of several furniture items within the subject. In order to prevent the loss of any more personnel, Mulhausen requisitioned Class 3 hazmat suits for his remaining men before they moved the container holding SCP-002 onto a freight ship ready to move it to its secure destination. A series of events later redacted from official documents then occurred which necessitated the resecuring of SCP-002 and resulted in the termination of the General by the Foundation. Based on these events, containment procedures for SCP-002 requiring staff with lower than Level 3 clearance to have prior approval of 2 staff with Level 4 clearance before accessing the SCP's container. After reaching the secure site in which it was to be permanently kept, SCP-002 underwent testing that established that cadavers and animals including higher primates can safely be placed inside the subject without vanishing and contributing to its growth. As of the writing of its entry in the SCP catalog, which included the Mulhausen report document to detail its origins and the Mulhausen incident, 7 Foundation personnel had been lost within SCP-002 and further furnishings consisting of 2 lamps, a throw rug, a television, a radio, a beanbag chair, 3 books in an unknown language, 4 children's toys, and a small potted plant had all grown within it. Containment procedures: while in the Foundation's secure site, SCP-002 is kept in a container kept constantly at negative air pressure. It must constantly be connected to a power supply so that a recharging state can be maintained. Should the supply fail, the container must be sealed off with barriers from the rest of the site and all nearby personnel evacuated. Power is to be restored to the subject as quickly as possible, which must then be strobed along with the surrounding area by alternating X-rays and ultraviolet light until SCP-002 can be returned to a recharging state. Only personnel of Level 3 clearance and above may approach SCP-002, unless specific approval is given in writing by 2 personnel with Level 4 clearance. No personnel of any clearance level may approach the SCP alone, and any group that approach must maintain physical contact with each other to ensure they do not become separated due to the effect that proximity to the SCP can have on perception. Command staff approaching the subject must be accompanied by at least 5 security personnel of at least Level 3 clearance until they have then been escorted to safe location at least 5 kilometers away, where they will undergo a 72-hour quarantine. Before approaching the SCP, they must also surrender all rank and clearance until they have been cleared by a psychological evaluation and completed their quarantine.